Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are looking at the Klingon D5 Cruiser. So, uh, being here on Daystrom's website, uh, this is a Klingon cruiser that we had gotten to see out of the Star Trek Enterprise series. This was produced in 2120 to 2150 and remained in service until 2290. There were estimated to be about 30 of these built in all, although in today's current day and age, none of them are considered to be frontline vessels, probably retired. Personal ships or something like that. Um, Stuff like that. All right, so lengthwise, it's 257 meters, has a beam of 205 meters, a height of 58 meters, and decks of 11. We have a hull displacement of 183,000 metric tons, and it does have a crew of 20. So this seems like it's a little on the bigger side for a crew of 20 in some regards to me, because really we're getting close to what the original Enterprise was for a length. Um, but trying to place it somewhere in between what what we got to see as the Bird of Prey and the D7 uh, cruiser that the Klingons had come up with later. You know, if you're splitting that difference, I guess this kind of works here. All right. So we do have an armament of 4 Mark V disruptor cannons with a total output of 400 terawatts. Let's see, we do have a defensive system as a standard shield with a total capacity of 30,500 terajoules, heavy monotanium double hull plus 5 centimeters dispersive armor, and a standard level structural integrity field. Okay, we have a normal cruise speed of warp 5, a maximum warp of 5.5, and a max rated of warp 6 for 8 hours, or 2 hours, I should say. Uh, Going through, now keep in mind, this is all looking at the Galaxy class as your standard with a strength of 100 or 1000. Beam firepower is going to be an 8. There are no torpedoes on this, and a weapon range and accuracy is a 20. Our shield strength is 11. Our hull armor is 270. Speed is 113, and combat maneuverability is 6,510. All right. Overall strength index makes it a 51. Our diplomatic capability is a 2. Expected hull life is 140 years, with minor and standard hull upgrades to the ship every year and major upgrades every 16 years. And the write up on this is very short. The D5 class was in use by the Klingons in the 22nd and 23rd centuries. These ships were the mainstay of the Klingon fleet during that period, and many variations came into service. The basic hull was adapted into the deuterium tanker model as well. So quite often, I'm going to guess that if you find them now, they're probably a tanker. Okay, so with that, let's move on over to our D6 stats and see what else we have written up from Memory Alpha. All right, so looking at our D5 stats here, or D6 stats for the D5. Boy, if this isn't confusing here this morning. All right. So, the ship that that I think was most notably seen was considered or called the Devastator, from the Klingon Empire D5 class battle cruiser, capital scale, has the length of, so this is actually shorter than what we have listed on Daystrom's website. So they have it listed as 152 meters by 73 meters long or wide and 37 meters tall. Okay, and has a ship displacement of 315,670 metric tons. making it a ship size of 5. It does have a basic autopilot with a 2D plus 2 to its piloting. Let's see, we have a crew of 350 listed, so this is significantly different from what we were looking at before. Passengers are going to be about 100. Our skeleton crew would be at 35 with a plus 10 difficulty to all checks. Cargo capacity is going to be 2,500 metric tons and enough consumables on board ship for about a year. Now, their warp drive, our standard cruise is going to be a warp 4. Our maximum cruise speed is going to be warp 5, and they have it listed for warp 7 for 12 hours. Of course, there's going to be a nav computer because pretty much everything in Star Trek would. Maneuverability is going to be a 1D. Space speed is a 6.6. Our hull strength is a 2D. Our shield is a plus 2. Our sensor packet gives us passive scanning out to 3 kilometers with a plus 1 bonus. We have an active scan out to 8 kilometers with a plus 2 bonus. An active search out to 12 kilometers with a 1D plus 1 bonus. A focus out to 500 meters with a 1D plus 2 bonus here. Now, we do have weapons listed as the Chakesh laser bank with a 120 degree forward arc. Fire control, I don't know why they have a negative 1D plus 1, but apparently their weapon systems aren't doing so hot in this era. Fire rate is going to be a 2 with a 2D damage. Let's see, we do have a photon torpedo launcher listed as being on board. Forward but self-guiding. Fire control is negative plus 1. Let's see, 20 Type 1 photon torpedoes are on board with a spread of 3 and doing a damage of 3D. And then we get into our tractor beams here. So we do have the 2 Class Beta tractor beams, one forward, one aft, with a strength of 2D plus 1. And of course, for our shuttle bay, 1 Class Alpha tractor beam, let's see, with a strength of 3D. All of our wonderful miscellaneous stuff that Holocron has given us. We have housing barracks for 300 crew members and 80 Spartan barracks. This is listed as having only 8 decks instead of the 11 that we got from Daystrom. We do have escape pods for 120 personnel with the capacity for 4 personnel in each escape pod. Okay, and this is commissioned by Earth Reckoning at 2225. We do have 2 transporters for 4 personnel in each, and 2 emergency transporters for 16 personnel, and 2 cargo transporters for only 200 kilograms. A little on the lighter side, but more primitive transporters. Because even at this time, at the launch of the Enterprise, they weren't using it for actual personnel at that time, so still fairly new and everything else in that regard. We do have 2 shuttlecraft and 20 probes on board. Let's see here. All of our description and history that we actually have a lot bigger right up here on D6 Holocron than what we had gotten from Daystrom. The D5 class battle cruiser was a type of large warship that was in service with the Klingon Empire during the mid-22nd century. In service as early as 2147, the D5 class was fully documented, albeit classified, in the Vulcan database. The D5 class often served patrol duties throughout the Klingon Empire. One vessel of this class served as a personal flagship for the high-ranking Fleet Admiral Krell. Let's see, physical arrangement. Like many of its successors in the Imperial Klingon fleet, the D5 battle cruiser was a rugged warship that was composed of diffusing bonded monocrystal and distinguished by a roughly avian like form. The bridge was located on the forwardmost position of the ship and was connected with a series of reinforced support cables via an elongated neck that extends to the secondary hull. Along the nape of the neck was the ship's forward sensor platform and the primary weapons array. The bulk of the ship rested in the aft section, which flared down and out port and starboard into a pair of angular wings, which contained talon like warp nacelles. A superstructure rested on top of the vessel, which contained the cargo loading door, aft sensor platform, and maneuvering thrusters. Below the superstructure, on the aftmost section of the secondary hull, was the ship's impulse engines. Design variant, the D5 class could be modified to carry 8 underslung deuterium tanks capable of transporting over 80,000 liters, described as being little more than a freighter, capable of operating with a crew of 12 and a skeleton crew of 4. This variant was considerably less advanced than the battlecruiser counterpart, notably in its lack of ventral disruptor cannon common to the class. In terms of defensive capabilities of this design, Jonathan Archer stated that he would lay odds that they're no match for the Enterprise. Tactical systems, the fully armed D5 battlecruiser was considerably more advanced than Starfleet's most powerful vessel of that era, the NX series Starship. Indeed, the maximum speed of the D5 class was a warp factor of 6. The offensive arsenal of the D5 class was rather impressive for the time of the ship, or that the ship possessed a forward weapons port capable of firing both disruptors and photon torpedoes. A 360-degree rotating turret contained twin belly mounted disruptor cannons and a dorsal disruptor array. The D5 class was protected by defensive shields and dispersive armor. The D5 class was superior in almost every aspect to Starfleet's NX class. However, given ideal circumstances, it was speculated by Enterprise's tactical officer Malcolm Reed that sustained phase cannon fire could be able to penetrate their armor, but I doubt they'd sit still long enough to give us that chance. Additional systems. Like its Raptor class counterpart, of the same era, the D5 class cruiser was outfitted with the standard multispectral sensors, not unlike those of the Starfleet's NX class. However, according to Ark Sung, the D5 class battle cruiser was equipped with sensors that were far superior to those of used on the NX class. A fake warp signature matched that of the D5 cruiser could be attained by the NX class starship by reinforcing the warp coil assembly. This alteration was undetectable by Klingon sensors at a range beyond 80,000 kilometers. Interior design, the main bridge capable of operating with a bridge crew of 3, the configuration of the D5 battle cruiser. Main bridge shared many features found in the contemporary designs. In the front of the bridge against the forward bulkhead was the ship's view screen. Directly behind the view screen, near the center of the bridge, was the captain's chair. Directly behind the captain's chair was the entryway to the bridge, with 2 manned consoles located on either side of the doorway. Let's see. This position of the captain's chair could also be moved forward and aft of the bridge to supplement the addition of a forward console along the perimeter of the bridge. Um where there were several stations, each designed for a specific task. The ready room was provided for the commanding officer with a private place to conduct ship's business. The ready room contained a desk, a chair with a computer monitor, and all this comes to us from Memory Alpha, Memory Beta, the Ship Recognition Manual, Volume 4 Space Dock, and the uh, Demon Apostle here. Okay, so another fun ship for those that love the Enterprise era. We finally get a ship for them, for the Klingons to be able to use. Actually, we're kind of getting two ships, and I've got a cat trying to attack my chair again. Um, the fact that we get the tanker that is really just an offshoot of this. I don't think we had the tanker listed here, but it's something that we could easily come up with. And in that regard, maybe what I will do is I will try to come up with a slightly modified version of this. But just keep in mind, really, what we're doing is we're losing the weapon systems, and we're cutting the crew down to maybe about 12 from the sounds of it. So, um, nothing really spectacular to write home about. So, I don't know if it's really worth kind of coming up with stats for it or not. Um, just leave me leave me comments if you think we should come up with stats, and maybe I'll just post it up in our posts and that, and we'll just kind of go from there. So with that being said, thank you so very much for joining me today. It's wonderful having you here. Hope you're having a good day, and I will see you in the next